Good morning and welcome to today's 10-minute training. Today we are talking about Camp Connections. And what I mean by camp is kids who are going away to an overnight camp for maybe a few days or a week or more in the summertime. Next time we'll be talking about VBS or day camps that your churches might be talking about. So what do I mean by Camp Connections? Well, first of all, I just want to say that if you have kids going away to summer camp anywhere this summer, then I hope that you know when they're going and where they're going. So the first thing is to just know the kids who are attending camp and which ones they'll be at. Then some tips for connecting with them and just adding that extra ministry touch to the summer times is to know which weeks and maybe find out the themes of what they'll be learning, to maybe find out if it's their first time at camp, if they've been there before. Those kinds of things would be helpful to know if you don't already know that. And then I would encourage you to look into those camps that they're attending and find out ways that you could connect with them throughout the week. So for many camps, you can mail a letter to the camper that will be delivered maybe at a meal time or something like that. And how special is it would be if you were a camper and you were one who got a letter from somebody from your church. That would be a great way to connect with kids, especially today when so few people actually mail letters. So if you're going to do that, make sure you know which week they're there and enough time to be able to mail it and all the details that you would need to know to ensure it gets to your camper. Also, I think that there are a number of camps that allow for an email option, which works in a similar way where you can email a camper and then they will deliver that email to them. This is such a wonderful and really easy way just to add that connection with a camper and to let that child know that you're thinking about them, that you're praying for them, and that their time at camp is valuable. So I'd really encourage you to do that. Other ways to connect with camp could be, and these are just going to be a bunch of different ways that you could personally get involved in some way in connecting with camps that your kids are engaged with, or camps that are in your area or that your church or your association supports, even if you don't have children that you are personally working with or within your families going to these camps. So maybe you could volunteer for a week. There's lots of camps that invite people to come and volunteer. So that would be the most involved way to connect with a camp. But another really easy way is many camps will post maybe through social media, through Facebook or in other ways, they will post the names and photos of those counselors and leaders who are volunteering or working at camp for the summer. So I'd encourage you to either find their Facebook pages or their websites and find out if those lists of camper leaders are out there. And many times it will also include maybe a little piece of information about them and a prayer request. And I would encourage you to be praying for those leaders. Camp is such an incredible and unique ministry. And these people who are spending their summer investing in kids, in the children that are part of your ministries throughout the year, are doing such an incredible work, but it is tiring and there are so many different things that come up within the camp life. So I would encourage you to be supporting these people in prayer. Many of our camp leaders are teenagers or young adults who are serving for the summer. So I'd encourage you to get to know the names of them and to be praying for them. And maybe there are ways that you could also encourage them throughout the summer, whether it's sending the cabin leader of, if you have kids going to the camp, sending the cabin leaders a note, an email or something like that to let them know that you're praying for them, to let them know that you're there to support them and you are thankful for the ministry that they do with their kids. That can go such a huge, long way. You know, it's often the case that camps kind of are almost something separate from church ministry. But we have such a unique opportunity to be connecting in a more tangible and direct way with our camps, and to recognize that our ministries are supporting each other. So if you're involved in children's ministry at your church and you've got kids going to camp for the summer, then I really think you need to connect in some way with those camps and know what's happening. So those are just some other tips of ways to connect with camps. There might be other things. So many camps have times when volunteers can come up to do work. Often this is outside the camp schedule, maybe in the spring and the fall. That might be another way to connect with camps. Of course, there is also the opportunity to financially contribute. That's another way that you can connect with camps. But another thing too would be to get to know the programming and the themes that are happening at the camps that your kids are attending. This is something that could allow for follow-up conversations and discussions with the kids, either when they're back from camp if you see them in the summer, or maybe when they're back in the fall, as a way of beginning your Sunday school ministry or other children's programming. It could be a way to connect with kids and just find out about the things and ask them questions. And how wonderful would it be if you actually knew something about the theme or the teaching on the weeks that they were at camp, and you could ask some questions directly around that to find out the things that they were learning. Find out the kind of the special things that the camp does. Maybe there's certain songs or certain activities or things that are unique to the camp that your kids are attending. If you learn about those as well, even if you're not going to the camp or volunteering, but getting to know that and then being able to ask kids about that, or just having a little bit of background, I think would go such a long way. Camp is something that can provide such a huge boost to someone's faith growth, and is such a big moment of building momentum in a child's faith development, that I think it is so important that you as children's ministry leaders are aware of what's happening in the summer times with your kids, and being able to build on that and build into that, if you know, before the summertime with these kids. So that's a great way. Another way of connecting with kids who are going to summer camp is with their parents as well. Perhaps the camp is sending home follow-up resources or Bible studies or that sort of thing. Find out about that as well, and then find ways that you can be encouraging parents in the ways that they're following up with their kids or interacting with their kids. Both if parents are part of your church regularly, but particularly if you have kids going to summer camp that are not connecting in with church. This would be a great way to just continue relationship building with those families as well. Letting them know that you're aware that their kids are at camp and that you're caring about what they're doing at camp for the summer can go a long way in your relationship with parents as well. So those are just a few tips on connecting with camp. Maybe there's some other ways that you can think of as well, besides just knowing your kids there or getting involved yourself in some way, volunteering, supporting, and remembering to pray for our leaders and our campers. And on that note, I want to encourage you to spend some time praying over these next couple of weeks. For many of our camps, they are just getting into the swing of their training for all their leaders. I know for us in our office, our Camp Quasin staff is all making the move up to Quasin this week and are preparing for all the leaders that are going to be moving in for the summer for their time of training before campers arrive in July. So I'd encourage you to be praying for them, for praying for our camps as they begin to launch their summer ministries, and praying for them throughout the summer. Particularly being mindful, even if you're traveling this summer, being mindful that spending a whole summer at camp is fun and exciting for staff, but it's also very tiring. And I know that all the staff at our camps would so appreciate knowing that there are people out there, even if they're people they don't know, who are praying for them. So I'd encourage you to be doing that. Like I said at the beginning, this was just focused on overnight camp for kids, but in our next 10-minute training from 2 weeks from now, we are going to be talking more specifically about day camps and VBS camps and some different ways to connect and support those ministries. But I just want to let you know that if you would like to be praying for the over 30 churches that I'm aware of that are running VBSs this summer, our prayer calendar is available. I have made that available online, and I will post a link to it here in the comments of this Facebook, so you can get that, so you can already start praying for those camps that will soon begin as well at the beginning of July. That's all the time that we have today. Again, I hope that you have kids involved in camp and that you are finding ways to connect with them. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks from today for our next 10-minute training. Have a great day.